People are now turning against short-term rental properties, so they're returning to just regular hotels. If I'm paying a cleaning fee, why am I still cleaning?
Yeah.
And many property owners, they have reported hidden cameras in their rentals.
맞아요. What is our topic for today?
Well, it's a cultural trend in Western countries. It's been a long time coming. People are now turning against short-term rental properties. So such as the one specific name mentioned over and over is 여행객들. They're returning to just regular hotels.
맞아요.
So complaints ranged from frustration over policies to anger about how these rentals hurt the residents of cities. In short, people are going back to hotels. So when you travel somewhere, do you have a clear preference for hotels or 땡? And why?
When I started traveling with my wife, we went the air 땡 route. I would say compared to what we always look for now, like a hotel,
Right?
남의 집을 빌리는 그 숙소는 이제는
You
못할 것
couldn't.
같아요. Yeah.
Why?
It's just something being not as like super fresh or super clean.
Since you've stayed in multiple rental properties,
Yeah.
would you describe them as hit or miss? Many
Yeah.
people are saying it's
맞아요.
so inconsistent. It's hit or miss.
맞아요. Hit or miss. 이것 뜻이 뭐 좀 랜덤이에요.
It's a big old lemon, and we don't mean that in a good way, right?
맞아요. So now we opt for just hotel accommodations.
Right.
네.
I'm the same. So
Yeah.
I always go for hotels. For me, taxi drivers could find them better.
Oh, yeah.
Closer to public transportation. Hotel employees always there to help if you need
Yes.
something. Meanwhile, some of the air 땡, it feels like you're in an escape room just trying to figure out how to get the key out of the lockbox to the
방탈출,
place.
right?
Yes.
네. So
Yeah.
you're saying short-term rentals are not as popular these days with the general public, like so most of the people in the U.S. It seems
Right.
like this is the general consensus. So you mentioned the policies, right? 이거 숙소 규정 때문에 너무 답답하다고 사람들이 많이 말했잖아요. So I know Air 땡 has rules that they have not only the people that provide the accommodations, but also people using the accommodation have to
Yes.
abide by. What are some of these examples that policies that really like tick people off?
Well, the first and by far biggest problem that was complained about just all over the internet is the cleaning policies.
Ah,
So it's been getting worse and worse over the years. So complaints by renters have been getting louder and louder. So
yes.
the most common grievance, so grievance is like 불만이 있어요. If I'm paying a cleaning fee, why am I still cleaning?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in these kinds of rentals, most people generally understand and respect the fact that they need to be clean. It is someone else's house,
Yeah.
like you mentioned before. But this is kind of a double hit, double whammy. You pay for cleaning.
Yeah.
But then you take out the trash, you change the sheets, mop the floor, and all this stuff before you leave.
So mainly people are turning against, it seems like, air 땡 because they don't want to do the cleaning at
Yes.
all, right?
Yes, that's the biggest reason. But also related to cleanliness, people said hotels, especially like the big franchises,
Yeah.
they have a general standard of how clean they are. So, for example, hotels have a cleaning staff. They have pest control.
맞아요.
And part of the movement against short-term rentals is that some have bed bugs, 빈대. Definitely not what you want. There aren't always amenities like soap and towels,
Yeah.
extra pillows, and many property owners, they have reported hidden cameras in their rentals.
맞아요.
So this is something that not just you, many people have raised concerns over. So this was a survey done by IPX 1031 just last year, 2025. It found that 55% of the rental property owners, they admitted to using hidden CCTV.
What?
And there have been more than 35,000 reports against short-term rentals for this problem alone. That's about 11% of rentals. Of course, the chatter online is that's just what's reported. What is unreported? What are those numbers like?
맞아.
Obviously, so many problems. 60% of Americans surveyed said they were worried about short-term rentals for this reason.
So according to the numbers that are reported of hidden cameras, more than 1 out of 10 accommodations have or has a hidden camera.
Yes.
Okay, so some serious concerns people have about these short-term rentals. Now, there's also things like extra fees. We mentioned extra work for cleaning, extra risks as well. But the price is so much cheaper, I think. That's why people go to Air Dang Dang for is compared to hotels. It's quite more like accessible and affordable, no?
Recently, I did see one short-term rental listing. It was marginally cheaper. A similar location, but people complained about amenities. So, I mean, people are really turning back to hotels. So basically, if you're traveling with your whole family for Salah, right? For Lunar New Year, for example. In that case, Air Dang Dang, yes, it would be cheaper, easily cheaper to put 16 people in one house than get all these hotel rooms. If it's just a couple, right? If you're talking 2 people, 3 people, Air Dang Dang fees really add up quickly. And in that case, a hotel, it's cheaper and simpler. Yeah.
Now, we do have to discuss this as well because Air Dang Dang is also known to hurt residents, like neighbors even, right, in the same town and same like area.
Yes, and luckily this is an issue that many travelers around the world are now very aware of. Short-term rentals have really eaten up the market for long-term rentals, right? So as a result, residents who need to rent a place to live, they're left with few very expensive options. People online from not only the US, but also the UK and other places in Europe, they all said this is a growing problem, not just in big cities either, also in smaller towns. So one person who rents in a British city famous for tourists said, quote, housing costs have risen astronomically over the past few years, but I hadn't realized how much of it can be so easily traced back to Air Dang Dang. So a 2018 report by New York City Controller's Office revealed that short-term rental housing, specifically in Air Dang Dang, tourist-dense areas of NYC, it led to a 20% increase in long-term rent prices.
그쵸. Because like Air Dang Dang owners, I mean, they're making money off renting out their house, and this directly affects the housing economy
Absolutely.
in the area. So people that just own homes and just want to live in peace and quiet in my own house. 아무것도 안 했는데도 like the prices just keep going up, right?
Yes, because it's more profitable to have the short-term rentals
맞아요.
than the long-term
네.
rentals. So this is a big issue.
맞습니다. Then, of course, this is just, opinions coming out, from, Melissa and I. But then what would you say is the final verdict then? What do you think?
So among everything that is the chatter online, right? People debating this issue. The overwhelming consensus was if you're traveling with more than 4 people, the amount a standard hotel room can fit, then Air Dang Dang is probably worth all the extra fees and annoyance of cleaning and whatever.
Okay.
That's because you have the space for everyone to spread out and also the ability to cook for everyone in the kitchen. However, less than that, so if you can fit everybody in a standard hotel room, just go for a hotel.
Yeah.
Less money, more reliability, less stress.
Yeah. So these are all things that you do have to consider. Once again, it depends on everybody's situation is different, right?
Right. Everyone's situation is different, but I think the previous thinking, which has been very popular for 10 years, right? Which was, air 땡 is always cheaper.
그쵸.
Well, actually, it's not. There's so many fees. You really have to think about where you're staying, what your situation is, and then decide.
맞아요. Well, that's going to do it for today's 영어할 결심. Melissa, thank you so much for swinging by. We'll see you back here next week.
Yes, we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Don't need a